Hello and welcome to DCP Live, episode number 209. I hesitated right there because I almost said side quest. That was going to be awkward.
Yeah. Is that because of all the massive Genshin talk?
Yeah,
You're
we're
like, it's
only talking about
definitely
Genshin for
quest.
30 minutes before this.
There's been a whole lot of anime waifu type of discussions going on, and I finally, I was saying I finally spent $5 on the game. I broke down, logged in, connected my account on my iPad, and spent $5.
For shame, for shame.
How dare you support a company of a video game you're enjoying? Blasphemy!
Blasphemy, my God.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the heresy. My goodness. Briar is currently getting braised at the moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's what he's going to be doing this whole episode.
After the last time, he decided that it was a lot of fun, and he'd like to do it again.
Yeah.
So we're trying out the other leg this time. See if there's a difference in the tastiness of each leg.
He was like, you know what? You convinced me. It took a couple years, but I'm into it now. So
exactly.
That's the development of this week, along with a whole bunch of Destiny stuff. We got quite a bit to talk about.
Destiny
yep, it's a
basically
lot.
everything. Everything happened.
Yeah. Should we talk about exotics?
Yeah,
actually,
we got a trailer for that trailer.
Thing.
Wait.
Halloween, exotics, and
okay.
wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll go in chronological.
Yeah, let's go Festival of Lost first, because that's probably the least exciting out of all this stuff.
Not that much to talk about there.
So Festival of Lost,
the
pretty
armor's
much,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get
probably
on
the
and get
best
some more.
holiday armors that they've done in a long time. Since probably one of the
Agreed.
Dawning sets.
Agreed, definitely.
Yeah, it's really good.
You can earn the exotics, the exotic ghost and sparrow and ship. That's cool.
From
That's
Ava,
not something they have normally done for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it does look cool.
And then everything else is not as great.
Kind of the same.
It's somehow worse, I think, because of the cipher thing. Like the ciphers were bad. The ciphers weren't dropping at all. Now they're kind of like they introduced the drop rate increase today, and like so now they're a little more reliable, and yet it's still fundamentally like you have to run at least 5 activities of something before you do one forest run, which does not feel great.
Does the Tassie Toland run apply to these activities? Can this work to get the ciphers?
I don't think the buff affected the Tassie Toland run. I did it. I did it today. I was 0 for 12 in patrols. So
maybe just got unlucky.
I think they just did it for like kind of more major activities like end of strike, end of Nightmare Hunt. But
I see. So
the best like real farm now is Nightfall Ordeals because of the double drop.
So you telling me
like pretty much guaranteed.
You got to run it per run? It's pretty much a guaranteed drop?
On an ordeal.
On an ordeal. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like master.
Even a low ordeal.
Oh, even a lower.
Well, it's not bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I was gonna say if you had to run 5 strikes in a row to get one cipher, that's
But it's like 45 ordeals for the for the triumph for the event, so it's still not amazing. Because I thought they were gonna drop like umbrals, like they said it'll be like an umbral drop rate, and like everyone's drowning in umbrals.
Yeah.
And like it's still not really like that after the buff because they don't drop in the wild. Like you can't just like randomly get a cipher from an enemy, so it's still pretty stingy.
So yeah, I hate opening up the show with like criticism, but it definitely is lackluster. The Festival of Lost for me, one of my biggest issues is when they put cool things like those armor and then make it a Eververse purchase like that, or like you have to spend your dust to get those armor sets. I know they probably said it in the past 12 or something like that about how it wasn't going to be earnable or anything like that, but you have this activity, in between the ciphers and the armor being a test Eververse type of thing, it just fell really flat for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this one, just because we obviously know that the next DLC was supposed to be out by now.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this Festival of the Lost. It's kind of what I expected. The only thing that I would have liked to see be different is playing the actual forest activity for the ciphers.
For the stuff.
Like just let me go sit in the freaking forest and do my thing.
Agreed.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I would.
Well,
like that.
it could have been a lot more straightforward. Like the further you get, the more chests you get, the more chances you get at the guns or whatever. Like the whole cipher mechanic just doesn't seem necessary to like exist on top of that. Like they already have the thing with the branches, and like I don't really understand the difference between even doing like 5 branches and 10 branches, because the chests are all there at the end. It's just a question of whether you have the cipher or not. Like I think it gives you more coins, but like I don't think it really affects anything. So like you're kind of just wasting your time if you go on some really long, elaborate forest run, which seems like an odd way of rewarding people.
Yeah. It's weird to have it be do better. That's not what you want to do. So I would definitely would have preferred it if it was just all in the forest. You could just sit there, grind out the forest. It's a new thing. Yes, we've done it before, but it's not here all the time. So maybe that makes people want to do it for a little bit longer than strikes, especially. Yeah, I think I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think this is a very last minute switch, I think, because I'm sure they had something entirely different planned for Beyond Light. And like, I mean, it's even dropping like 750 power cap stuff from like last year. Like, I think it was a very fast switch over, and a lot of stuff kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. So you guys think that this was definitely not the intended event?
I mean, Mercury wouldn't have even been in the game anymore if they had sunset.
It's the haunted forest, though, technically. Technically, it's a haunted forest.
I think that's technically part of Mercury.
And you launch it from the tower, also.
Game-wise. That's true. You do launch it from the towers. I don't know. Maybe it could have been.
I feel like it wouldn't have been the forest again.
I didn't think it would have been if Mercury was gone. But we still don't really know if like what's happening to the planets exactly. Like if they're being fully obliterated or if they're just like darkness quarantined or something. Who knows?
Yeah. It definitely... It fell pretty flat for me, unfortunately. And I know that you can get random rolls for the AR, but like you got Gnawing Hunger and you got Forward Path already. Like, do you really want those ARs instead?
They're not very good.
Yeah, unfortunately. Right?
I haven't seen any like truly amazing rolls for either of them, but
yeah.
Which is fine. Yeah, that's fine.
We can move on to more positive things like the Exotics trailer, which
all
is
of the exciting stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that fell really flat, and then they dropped that trailer for the Exotics. I think it was like sequential, right? Immediately after
they dropped the trailer for the trailer. They were like, "Hey, tomorrow something's happening," and we were like,
"Huh?
Yeah.
What do you mean something's happening?"
This
they showed the guns in the ice, and everyone was like, "Icebreaker's coming," and then Icebreaker didn't come, but a lot of other stuff did.
The amount of exotics that they showed in that, like, do we have a list? We should have talked about this beforehand before it started.
I wrote a list.
Perfect. Paul, you did an article, didn't you? Amazing.
That's perfect. Worked out well.
That whole trailer back to back, or just one after the other, was amazing. I was like, this feels like D1 level exotic excitement.
Yeah, because they were all, I mean, almost all of them are really cool looking too. Like I don't think there were very many duds, maybe like one, but all right. So we started with No Time to Explain. It's the first one, which is an old gun, but it looks like they totally redesigned the exotic perk with this alternate dimension gun thing that follows you, which is kind of Borderlands.
It's Arc Buddy, but like a time altering time machine buddy.
Is it?
And you can have both, and then you have double buddies.
Exactly.
Double buddy system?
That does sound cool.
Yeah. You never want your arc buddy to be alone and sad. So you get the personal system from No Time to Explain. Yeah.
Interdimensional portal buddy, and you're good. Yeah. And we know that has a catalyst already because they advertised the catalyst as, I think it was a pre-order bonus or something, but it increases the fire rate of portal buddy.
Your buddy.
Wait, the pre-order bonus is the catalyst?
Something at the end. I mean, you get the gun. You get the gun as a special edition bonus or pre-order bonus too.
Okay.
Catalyst.
I'm sure you'll still be able to get the catalyst.
It's the deluxe edition Stranger Pack.
Got it.
So you get that catalyst, and you get an exotic ornament and a sparrow. But I'm assuming that's obviously not the only way to get the catalyst.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably just get given it right away with the pre-order. Well, not pre-order, deluxe.
Yeah, deluxe edition. So that gun looks cool. I mean,
looks super fun.
Thing, buddy. Yeah.
Having a little buddy is always a good time.
Cloud Strike is the wizard staff sniper rifle.
Yeah, that thing looks great.
Does electrical or a lightning strike on precision hit, not kill. So that has me wondering how that can work against a boss, maybe depending on.
Same. I was saying the same thing when we talked about it on stream. I was like, so you can look at it, and when you get a kill, it does like a kind of chain lightning sort of thing. But if you're hitting precision hits, it's doing an entire storm, it said in the description. So I'm definitely thinking if you have a full raid team of this thing and they're all just hitting crit spots, what does that look like? Maybe break your computer potentially.
So many storms, a lot of strobe effects.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
A lot of frame drops.
Its sniper looks really cool too.
It does look great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The design of all of these is pretty stellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks badass.
Third is the Lament, the chainsaw sword.
Yeah.
They trigger on it. And the Cloud Buster move you can do with it.
Yeah, Cloud Buster move.
I don't quite understand. Like, you rev it up, and then you can cut through shields with it, and then it will end up healing you somehow at like max rev or something. But I mean, with how strong swords are right now, this looks like Falling Guillotine with more perks. So
this was interesting because it's a sword that heals you, and I know you have to kind of like power up the sword to get the heal, but it's very interesting that, if you're doing, say, Prophecy Dungeon, right, and you're a hunter, you don't have any warlocks with you, you don't have those heals, you can't just stand there and just spin on the boss the entire time because you're gonna die. So a sword having heals is really interesting with that kind of thing, because maybe you can just stay there and just keep attacking it, which would be great.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So I'm pretty excited for it, and it looks so good.
It's beautiful. It's like it looks like a motherboard.
Yeah, it looks super
my theory is that either that or the next one might be the raid exotic, because they have shown off raid exotics and trailers like these in the past, just based on the design.
What do you think about it?
I think the next one might be Salvation's Grip.
Wait, hold on. Back to the sword. Wait, back to the sword. Real quick. Do you think, how useful do you think busting those shields are going to be with the?
I'm wondering how it works. If it could be anti-barrier, maybe, like that would be kind of
it's
crazy.
anti-barrier.
They definitely they showed the anti-barrier thing in the trailer for it, where it was like something put up a barrier and he just went in there and slapped it.
Like a champion barrier? I must have missed that.
Yeah, it looked like a champion barrier.
Well, if it's intrinsic anti-barrier, that's actually a really big deal.
Yeah.
Because swords have not been able to do that so far.
Yeah.
We've had, I think, overload swords with a mod, but that would be a big deal.
Makes me wonder if they're gonna rely heavily on champion barriers in the raid. Like if there's gonna be quite a few of those.
Kind of hope not.
Maybe.
Unless we get a lot more than just one new anti-barrier weapon.
Well, maybe they're gonna introduce a whole suite of stuff like that, and then also have this sword that has that ability. Be interesting, because I really like the champion system, but they do need to like flesh out the options in the arsenal to be able to appropriately attack.
Well, this is skipping ahead a little bit, but today in the TWAB, I noticed that they're putting in a kind of a seasonal slot on exotic armor for like Warmind cells and Charged with Light stuff. I don't know if that's going to translate to like the artifact seasonal mods, or if they're going to do that with exotic weapons, but like they could be moving in that direction for kind of more options with mods on exotics. So we'll see. But,
yeah.
And
cool.
Next one, last one they showed. There's also Hawkmoon, which they didn't show. Salvation's Grip appears to be a heavy sort of grenade launcher that shoots stasis glaciers at people. Just the fact that this is stasis and the way it looks makes me think it might, and the name of it makes me think it might be the raid exotic from the what's it called? The Exo place. Deepstone Crypt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
I don't know. I just get a feeling about it, but
yeah.
This rocket is really interesting because we've seen in all of the subclasses and stuff that there's things where it's, when you shatter an enemy, it does this. When you shatter an enemy, it does that. So having a rocket launcher that can theoretically just freeze everything is pretty cool. So I think there's going to be some really interesting combos with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about that potential.
mass stasis.
This is a question I have about stasis in general, because we know it's going to be like a whole new element type. I'm wondering if they're going to do something like, if you have a stasis element on your gun, if like you shoot something enough times with that, will you be able to freeze them? Or is it just going to be like another element, like kind of how they work now with shield matching, and like solar doesn't really do anything special, void doesn't do anything special.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm wondering if they're going to change that kind of core mechanic to give elements more of a boost, because it just seems kind of weird to like shoot someone with like a stasis rifle and it doesn't freeze them or do anything. I don't know. That's just something that's got me thinking of.
It's the conundrum of Destiny's elementals from the beginning. Like, is it just colored bullets, or is it actually going to apply an elemental? And it's hasn't been an elemental unless it's exotic, like Zala, Supercell, and stuff like that. And I think a sandbox is much more interesting if they do have those elementals applied, but we're definitely not there yet. I don't know if Beyond Light's gonna get us closer.
It could, because they're doing something very different with subclasses. So it definitely seems like they're trying to go in this way of making elements be a little bit more unique and do unique things. Mm-hmm. So I would say maybe it's possible that, the other elements currently don't do something super exciting, but stasis maybe does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
maybe.
I want to see solar actually light things on fire. If you're shooting something, there needs to be a burn that gets like activated from enough rocking, and Arc needs to apply electrical connections and conduits and all that stuff. And Void is a gravity well
like
or whatever. Sure.
Genshin elemental combinations.
Put it in Destiny.
Got to be able to overload, and
it makes it fascinating and fun to play. Like, oh, you proc that and proc
explosions are fun.
They are.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the weapons. Again, we have Hawkmoon, but they did not detail Hawkmoon. I wonder if Hawkmoon could be like a seasonal gun and not for Beyond Light. Like maybe that could be the season pass gun if they're not talking about it here. I also think there's probably more guns that they're just not showing off yet. I very much think there's more than 5 guns.
Exotics?
They did
more than 5 exotics. You think?
5 exotics. I think so. Is my guess. I mean, I was doing a comparison to Forsaken, because everyone's thinking this is going to be bigger than Shadowkeep and maybe more towards Forsaken. Forsaken had 13 guns, including the PS exclusive one, 13 exotics, and 12 exotic pieces of armor. I don't think it's going to go that high, but I would not be surprised to see more than the 5 here and the 6 exotic armor pieces we have.
See, I could see it going 5 initially, and then every season is adding 1 or 2 additional ones over the course of a year.
Yeah, how many have we been getting a season now? I feel like it's at least 2 or 3 a season now, isn't it? For
feels like it, right?
For weapons. Not armor maybe, but weapons. All the armor they showed off is new. I have a hunch they're going to bring back at least 1 Destiny 1 piece of armor.
Yeah.
For each class too. I know Titans are praying for a very specific one.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to.
Speaking of Titans,
start playing Titan way more often if that came back.
The first one they showed off is probably my favorite, Fall Mantle, which replaces your barricade with an overshield. So you can just instantly activate an overshield, which sounds awesome.
Sounds like a thing.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to that one, because that just sounds like a perfect functionality. Because like I've always kind of hated barricade. I just think it's the worst or least fun to use class ability. So making that an instant overshield sounds very good in both PvP and PvE.
As long as it's not paper thin, right?
Yeah.
Like if it feels like a decent overshield to pop. I mean, granted, the cooldown is probably the cooldown comes back pretty quick, but maybe they could adjust that in accordance to make it feel like a decent overshield, so you don't feel like it's just suddenly ripped off from a Minotaur shooting you a couple times,
Yeah, if you spec into resilience, which is nice because it makes resilience really useful for Titans now, whereas it's not too crazy. Barriers are cool and all, but they're not super exciting. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be one people complain about a lot. Because there's just going to be Titans
like a couple of these,
popping overshield every like 20 seconds.
Right.
Less than that.
Speaking of complaints, here's one for all you hunters that will get you complained about. Mask of Bacchus, which shift replaces dodge. So shift does not blink because you can't do it in the air.
No.
But this will essentially be like a lateral teleport.
It's literally what the captains do. The fallen captains.
Oh yeah, good point.
They're just
exactly that.
That's totally what they're doing.
It's the Void Warlocks with their, hovering the ball crap. What is that called again?
No one knows the name of it because no one uses it anymore.
Hover on the ball crap.
The ball, boom, 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 zipping around. So now we get those.
Yeah.
I hope it's useful.
That looks great.
Yeah.
It looks wonderful.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, it's pretty much PvP only. Like, I can't imagine why you would use that in PvE. I don't think you're going to trick the AI, but PvP,
unless you're totally invincible during it. In PvE, then I could see that being useful.
And then the next one is another hunter one. I don't know how to pronounce this. Aether's Embrace, where it is a superior weighted knife. I'm still not 100% sure what that means. I think it's better tracking.
In the video, it showed it bounce 2 times.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
I
literally think it's just as an additional
like a guided missile, or was that like an awesome shot somebody made? You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell.
It bounces twice.
I think it just bounces. Well, there's a thing that happens when you bounce off a wall. It has kind of like a targeting system that gets engaged.
Okay.
Aren't they kind of weighted? Like if it's in a general cone, it tends to go towards a crit spot. So
more bouncy.
I haven't hit enough people with the knife to know that. So
bouncy, more bouncy. The second part of that exotic, a lot of people were kind of confused about because it doesn't specifically say rapid precision. Is it kills or hits? With the knife, it just says hits in general. So people were like, "Oh, we think that you can actually stack that up with your guns." Oh, here it is. Yeah, rapid precision hits gain a damage bonus and can temporarily stagger enemies.
Rapid.
Is that specific with the knife? Because it doesn't say.
How do you get a rapid precision hit with a knife on a cooldown?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. So
I feel like that's got to be a gun, right?
It's got to be. It could be. So yeah, it's like your knife is better. Oh, cool, great, fantastic. And then here's you getting a damage increase with rapid precision hits. But then it also doesn't say can temporarily stagger enemies with knife. It just says can temporarily stagger enemies.
No, I figured this might be a PvE thing. So it's like you build up damage on precision hit, and then you throw the knife, and the knife now has bonus damage and staggers an enemy. So if you stack up to times 10 knife bonus or something, and then you can one shot an ogre with your knife or something. That's the way I would potentially.
That would be more fun if they are talking about the precision kills with the knife, resetting your knife and then throwing it again. This exotic is trash.
Well, no, you have to. You'd have to. You use what is it, top tree or bottom tree that resets it on kill?
But there's only one that gives you the weighted knife.
Weighted knife is the other one's explosive knife now because they changed it.
Yeah, so you would get your knife back on kill anyway. So if you get a string of one shots, I guess.
Yeah, it's real weird.
I don't know.
It's real weird if that's how it works.
Yeah, this is one of the ones I wasn't immediately impressed with, but.
It's all confusing because it specifically says precision hits, not kills, and then you only get the knife back if you get a kill with a precision kill. So if that's the way it is, that just doesn't make a lot of sense.
I think we're gonna have to get some more info on this.
Yeah, we'll
get back to us next week, Bungie.
Bungie, we're gonna need to follow up on that, please.
And people were complaining about the Warlock ones, which I guess I can understand. So the first one is Dawn Chorus, which gives improved burns and daybreak damage. So this is essentially directly buffing. I think it's bottom tree because that's got all the burns in it. I mean, I don't know. Just buffing super damage is not terribly interesting to me as a perk. Burns could be cool if it was if it was a severe increase, and if it could maybe. Are there any weapons that do burn damage, like exotics? I'm wondering if that would apply to those, sunshot explosions.
Yeah, but
Polaris lance explosions. I don't know, things like that. I'm wondering Yeah, if it's like an AoE explosion, I think it does burn damage to enemies, doesn't it? So
I don't know if I don't think it does over time. Burn over time.
Does anything do burn over time?
Aside from
not thinking
Thorn?
about? No, that's just like
it's just poison. Yeah, but like technically,
so it would be
your
melee and your grenade with top tree and middle tree.
Yeah,
as well. So that's what you can do. It depends how improved the burn is, right? If it's super crazy strong, then it'll get used. If it's not, then it just won't get used at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other one is the poison gloves, the necrotic grip, which spreads poison on melee. They just love giving warlocks melee exotics. That's
it's the best
thing.
I'm envisioning someone hitting me across the map with a tracking melee of celestial fire, and then it hits me, does like basically all my health, and then the burn just murders me. I'm excited.
I mean, that's the utility I was thinking of is on the range melees. Up close, I mean, I guess it depends how what the cooldown is, how often it procs, how much damage the poison does. Like I could see it being a kind of a cool mob clearing thing. Like if you're swarmed by thralls, you melee one, and then the poison spreads.
Just spreads, all of them. Keep spreading on
that. I think this one has potential, probably more than people are giving it credit for.
It's going to be ridiculous.
I thought it looked really cool.
I thought it looked incredibly strong because I don't know how many times people get hit by celestial fire, but I get hit by it all the time by someone just throwing it at a wall or around a corner because they don't know exactly where you are, but it tracks. So.
Yeah,
and if it's procking off of that, it's really strong.
Exactly. Like I didn't connect that. I assumed that you actually have to do just a regular melee in order for it to proc. But if it does go with a projectile, that's gonna be nuts.
Wasn't there a problem with Celestial Fire though, where it doesn't really count as a melee? Like if you're trying to do like melee bounties and stuff, it's not actually a melee.
We'll have to see what it procs.
I remember it was like that at one point. I don't know if they changed it.
Isn't that like smokes? I feel like smokes don't count for melee on kill.
I'm not sure. I mean, smokes would make more sense not to count, but
right, because it's projectile thingy.
The last exotic is Titan Precious Scars. Revive creates shielding aura. Just calling this the Trials Titan exotic.
Oh yeah.
So did it look in the video? Is it the Titan getting revived that has the aura? So the Titan with that exotic dies, and then he gets revived and gives an aura to his teammate.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I think that's what the video showed is that he revived.
I'll fast forward to that part.
Because it says revive creates shielding aura. So it doesn't
specify in the description of if it's like you doing it or you getting revived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's both. Maybe it's both.
So there's a Titan. It doesn't show him getting revived, but he's like connected by beams of light to his two teammates, like branching off of him. So
yeah, it could be
maybe he got revived, and then it's like connecting his teammates.
It could be either way. Both. Yeah, like if you are reviving, you're wearing it, or if the person getting revived is wearing it, then it creates it. What if both of them are wearing it? Double.
It's this is
double aura.
In trials, for sure, you're going to get annoyed by it because the Titan's going to put down a barrier so you can't stop them getting the revive. He's going to get the revive. The teammate that he just revived is now, not only does he have an overshield because of this thing, but now he has full special ammo to shoot you with because you get special ammo when you get revived. And now you can all just run at the enemy team with your overshields and just murder them.
Balanced.
Perfect. Yeah, so
it'll be great in PvE activities though. Like that'll be, you get the res, you get the overshield, you can survive, get in a better position. Like it'll be great for that.
Yeah, that is actually really cool.
Let's see that.
Again, it kind of depends though. If it's enough in PvE to actually make sense to use it, or if it's one of those things where in higher difficulty stuff it just gets completely shredded apart and is like not even useful.
Yeah, I feel like the personal overshield one, if you're going to do an overshield based thing, might be better for more diversity, and it doesn't require someone being dead. Like, I don't know. I feel like that might be pretty contextual. Like in a Nightfall or something, when there's like a timer before you can even revive someone, it might not be as useful. But I would predict it's mostly in.
What you do is the person reviving the other person wears the give yourself an overshield. They pop their overshield and then they res that person. They're wearing the give yourself an aura. And then you got double right there. You're good to go.
Double
Double
overshields,
overshields.
triple overshields.
You're ready to take on the
100
world.
overshields. Sounds great.
Yeah.
I think these are really cool. Was that all of them?
I think it's cool.
That was all 10, yeah. 10 and
Oh, that
Hawk
is all
Moon are the ones we know about.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
I don't
there's
think there's any other hints that they've left out.
so obviously there's there's some duds in there. Like the weighted knife thing is definitely kind of questionable on there, but like I like where Bungie's thinking. It feels outside the box on a lot of these, where they're thinking let's try to reapproach stuff and give it like a whole new angle, or at least a different approach. That I think is cool. I'm excited to get some of these and try them out.
Yeah, I saw these and I was like, it's more things showing that Bungie's going down a path that's much more interesting and unique than just, hey, look, we're trying to create a balanced shooter. And it feels like they're getting their identity a lot more with what they're trying to do with this game. So all of these exotics, I was like, ooh, that's interesting. Like the necrotic grips, I was like, that could be great in PvP. Could also be great in PvE if you just melee a trash mob and it just spreads this poison between them.
Pandemic gloves. Yeah. Should have been social distancing, Thrall.
It's a good way to demonstrate social distancing to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you compare it to like the list of Destiny 2 launch exotics, and like you look at the perks, it's like have 2 grenades, have 2 melee charges. Like it's all like really kind of basic stuff that is pretty dull.
Yeah.
So I think they've become a lot more creative, especially with weapons. But I think Armor 2 now, to a certain extent, they're really kind of digging in and coming up with some cool concepts. I think Stasis opens up a whole new field of things they can do with shielding and freezing and blah blah blah. So, and then we have to remember the subclass system that's changing on top of this. So it's things like activating your class ability does this with frozen enemies, and then combine that with getting an overshield and shattering an enemy at the same time. Like you can already see how kind of start to spiral into some very, very cool builds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really cool stuff.
Definitely.
Digging it. I really like that. Is it grenade launcher or rocket launcher? Did they say?
I thought it was a grenade launcher.
I think it's a kind
of lobs it.
Yeah, but it's got
it
this
feels
like
it
different.
feels like a gun the enemies have, like one of the enemies.
That thing looks really interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe like the night lob arc gun. I don't know.
Yeah, I really feel like that would be the raid exotic. I feel
just the look of it, the stasis, the name.
Like,
definitely.
I know Anarchy is too obvious and on the head, but there is like the similarity thing going on where Anarchy had this unique thing from the raid. They could be doing a similar type of thing with a grenade launcher.
Yeah, I could see that. I just hope Anarchy gets an ornament. That's all I want for Anarchy.
Yeah, agreed.
An
ice ornament. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
A catalyst that turns it into stasis, and you create stasis pools from the geometry.
And it freezes. If you get caught in the thing, it freezes you.
Now we're talking.
I like it.
So that was that. That happened Wednesday.
Exact trailer. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a whole lot to unpack.
Yeah. That was a lot.
Are we going through the TWAB now, I guess? TWAB would be next, right?
The TWAB was also very interesting.
There was a tiny lore drop before the TWAB. It was just Zavala complaining about people not evacuating and being sad.
There was also the mission that happened this week too.
Tree talk, Paul.
Tree watch.
Oh,
Tree watch.
I forgot about that. Tree watch concluded. I totally missed that the tree changed. My one job was to see if the tree changed, and it did. And I didn't even notice till after. The tree got all the way dark. It got coated in darkness material. So there was no gray left. It was only black.
It didn't do that on my screen.
Someone sent me a photo of it, so I know it happened. I didn't notice one or the other, but yeah. So we got a cool Nokris boss fight in Court of Oryx reprised. Got a lot of hints about the Dreadnought lately, like Festival of the Lost. This Dreadnought hints.
Yes.
We were literally fighting in Court of Oryx. Like a lot of Dreadnought hints. So look out for that in a year. That's my guess. But it was cool. It was a cool mission. Cool boss fight. I'm glad they put it live now because people have a month to do it. But.
Yeah. I like that boss fight better than the strike one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they swapped it every now and then. When you drop in the pit, suddenly you get teleported in that area.
You're like, whoops, you're in the Ascendant Realm.
Yeah, Ascendant Realm for that boss fight. I thought that was really cool. It was a nice way to end it out. And
the statue room is really cool.
Yes, the statue room was amazing.
I took like 50 screenshots in there. I'm like, oh man, I'm only going to be here like once. So
that was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about our local fashionista grandma secretly being evil?
Ava Levante?
That's a theory. That's a theory.
Is she being controlled?
I think she's like, I don't know if she's evil. I think she's like,
she's involved in the darkness.
I think she's like some entity that like we don't fully like. Maybe she's like one of the 9 or something. I don't know. Like, just something more than what she appears to be.
Did this come up in the lore?
There was something about her going to the Dreadnought, right, or something like that. She's involved with all this Dreadnought weird
decorations.
There's a lot of really good shaders over there in the.
Where else are you gonna source really like authentic looking props for your spooky Halloween event? The actual Dreadnought, obviously.
That's true. You got to go to the actual place. The best from Eva Levante.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that she's Savathun. I did hear that.
Of course.
One thing I've realized about Destiny is if a fan theory gets big enough, whether it was true or not, Bungie will sometimes just make it true.
Yeah.
Like that's happened on more than a few occasions. So if we keep saying this enough, maybe it'll happen.
So you're saying that she's the raid boss in Deepstone Crypt?
She might be.
I wrote a whole like fan fiction raid once that had Tess Everest as the raid boss. It was something.
That's Briar's fantasy.
Yeah,
that's true. But then he'd have to actually raid to kill her would be the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe more of like a strike boss would do Briar well.
Okay.
A Gambit Primeval.
Gambit
You could maybe do that.
Do you think there's going to be a new Primeval in Gambit for Beyond Light?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, probably no.
There's going to be, it's new blockers, right? Or they're bringing old blockers back. Like I thought they were bringing the shield guys back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to change much about Gambit.
No love for Gambit.
Making it smaller and taking things away.
Us Gambiteers out there walk a hard line. Loving Gambit so much.
Poor Gambiteers.
Yeah. I mean, the Drifter seems like he's going to have a big part in the actual story of Beyond Light.
True.
But yeah, as for how that pertains to Gambit, I don't know.
I think the Drifter.
It seems like Drifter is going to be in the game just kind of a lot more now. He's almost like the new Cade in terms of how much screen time.
For sure, yeah.
That's true. People do like the Drifter.
I think he's awesome.
He's a
great character.
He's a character. Yeah.
I also think that characters like being in storylines have a certain amount to do with voice actor availability. Like Lance Reddick is always down to record whenever, so he's like Zavala's in everything, but other people have different schedules, and seems maybe Drifter's more open, so which is great.
Yeah, you get to be in the game. You available? Cool. Come be the main character. Always.
There should be some lore of him selling Gambit on Craigslist while he goes off on his ventures. It's like
something he would do.
Slightly used Gambit experience.
One day Gambit's just gone. And he's just like, I sold it. What are you gonna do?
Some new
What'd you do with my Gambit?
It?
My mom will be real sad. Maybe my mom runs Gambit.
She becomes a new Gambiteer. Official.
She is the ultimate Gambiteer.
It's the new title. They're making a second Dredgen title. It's just called
Gambiteer.
I love it.
Oh my god. That's great. Should we talk about the TWAB?
Yeah.
Probably. There's a lot in there.
There's a lot to unpack.
Lots of stuff.
Should we just
take it from the top?
So, they said stuff about Festival of Lost, and they talked about the exotic trailer. So we did already talk about that stuff. And then they talked about the Cosmodrome and the New Light experience. Burn Bright, New Light. So they said over the last year, there's been a lot of feedback on the new player experience in Destiny 2. Currently, players are given a single mission to become acquainted with the basic gameplay and then let loose in the tower without much direction what to do next. This led to some confusion.
Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you just started the game. You're like level 4. Have you thought about raiding?
They're just like, go get them. Attaboy. Go shoot some space aliens now. Let's see. So as many players and know where to start. Who's that robot? What are these engrams? What's a Zavala? The team has been working to restructure the on-ramp for Destiny 2, and today we'll be given a few small glimpse into the new light experience. So starting November 10th, players will start in the same way as most of us all have, and a ghost will be on the hunt. For their guardian. They'll stumble upon you and they'll revive you for the first time. What's different is now you won't immediately find a ship. Rather, you'll stumble into another guardian in the wild. Shahan.
Shahan
is his name. He's a Gambeteer, by the way. He's on a mission with his fire team to investigate what the Hive are up to in the Cosmodrome. He'll show you the ropes and help you find your way among the gameplay and systems of Destiny 2. As a new player, you'll spend your first few missions getting acquainted with the state of the world in Destiny 2. You have the opportunity to take a few weapons out for a spin, find some engrams to try different armor, and see our progression systems, and have some time to learn how to navigate the user interface to understand quests, bounties, collections, and more. All this will happen before you set foot in the tower, and our hope is that the refreshed New Light experience will give a much warmer welcome to Guardians as they play Destiny 2 for the first time.
That is significantly better. That's like an actual intro. Hey, I'm your bud. Welcome. Let's go
Guardian.
Take a look around and see what's up.
I see you're
Hey, Guardian, you
minted.
thought about becoming a Gambeteer? Hey, Guardian, you see those taken over there? Do you want to wield the power of them?
Yeah.
Let's go play Gambit.
Well, you know what that tingle is? That's the light. It's in you.
That's the taken tingle.
The taken tingle's in you now. Go use that power, Guardian. I think it's great. This is desperately needed to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. And you get to play it if you're a veteran player, which is really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said
I want to experience that.
Yep. They said it's going to be available to people to go and check out if you do already have a Guardian, which is great. Yeah, this is awesome because this is going to answer a lot of questions for people. So many people jump in and are like, what do I do?
The problem, though, I agree that the onboarding sounds a lot better, is that they still haven't really answered the whole thing about, we deleted like 25 free campaign missions and 5 free raids and a whole bunch of other stuff from the New Light experience. So we didn't like... I definitely think sounds like a better onboarding system, and it kind of seems like the Cosmodrome is maybe going to be kind of like a baby Guardian playground. Like, I don't know how much actual Beyond Light story stuff is going to happen there, but it still seems like New Light players are losing a whole lot of stuff without a ton to make up for it. Like, I get that this will probably be a longer quest line than what they have now. It's like the Cosmodrome intro.
Sure.
I mean, it's not the Red War campaign, the Warmind campaign, right. Christmas Osiris, like 3 seasons of forges and opulence, like all of that stuff is still gone. So New Light is still being pretty heavily reduced, and there was no indication at all that something like Forsaken is being made free. Yeah, so that's my remaining concern with it, even though the initial onboarding stuff does sound like miles better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the trade-off is that the new player gets dumped into the Cosmodrome and gets to stay there for a while. Kind of like when you first were in the Cosmodrome for a few missions.
Yeah.
You did go to the tower, but then you went back to the Cosmodrome because you had to complete the Cosmodrome before you could unlock the moon in D1. And it kind of showed you the ropes of what was going on when you got like an engram and started learning what was what. They did say that they're adding lost sectors to the Cosmodrome and all that. But when you put it that way, Paul, you make a very strong point about the value of New Light and the free-to-play experience being heavily reduced when Beyond Light launches.
It's free either way, so like how much can you really complain about free? It's quite a leap from... Because, part of the appeal of New Light was just how much stuff it was offering. Like, it was an astonishing amount of content for free, but they're not really... Like, I thought it was going to be like a rolling cycle. Like, okay... Next year, then it's going to be like year 3 stuff's in New Light, and then pay for the next 2 years.
Yeah,
but that does not seem to be happening. So that maybe it'll still happen eventually. Maybe they'll make Forsaken free in like the middle of the year or something. But
maybe they're heading. Yeah,
a little lot.
They could be heading that direction. It's just they had to do some revamp, some house cleaning, because obviously D2 vanilla didn't hit the mark that it needed to for
right.
Like it doesn't carry even remotely the same connection as like D1 missions. even though D1 story was like all over the place, and you were like, okay, this dark blob is dead now. Weird. Like we killed Gaul, and there's still less gravitas to that campaign. At least it is for me, anyways, than how I felt when I finished D1. So it felt like they had to do a bunch of house cleaning, clean up some stuff, and there was definitely confusion for new players. Huge amount of confusion.
Oh, it was pretty bad. I think like new players are losing a lot of campaigns for sure, but I almost feel like there was so much if you were coming into Beyond Light. If you're coming into Beyond Light as a new player, I think it would just be so overwhelming that people would just drop the game. So I think stuff like this kind of had to happen where it's like, here's a better starting experience, and hopefully this makes people stick around for longer. So I'm sure they do have that problem where they start playing and they're like, never mind, there's way too much.
I think all they had to do though initially was present the campaign missions like linearly. Like, here's the first Red War mission, like beat that, do the second Red War mission. Like I think it was a presentation problem more than like the actual breadth of content. Because it was just like you literally had to find one vendor who had like 3 icons for entire campaigns, and like you would never know to do that unless someone told you to do that. But I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll still.
See, the issue though is that you didn't have like the leveling up experience through the campaign that you did like when you were first doing D2 in the beginning, or D1 in the beginning. There's that progression experience, and that is basically lost for the most part because you don't have to play any of those missions to do the progression. And I don't know if they're going to fix that in this. I think it's more of like, here's how Destiny works. So there's less of a drop off of what do I do now? How do I even go and get gear? But yeah, it seems like they're still going to have some issues. I don't know.
And I will refrain myself from going off for 45 minutes about how Shahan is definitely Aldrin under the helmet, but I have a whole article about that tomorrow. So.
Exclusive.
Yeah,
that's what you're going to read about tomorrow, guys.
You just got the Tassie scoop.
He definitely is. He's introduced wearing a helmet. Like, no, there's no way he's not. It's like Shax's the only helmet guy, and there's too many clues, too many hints. Either he's Aldrin or Bungie developed a new character specifically to troll me. So it's one of those two things.
That is possible.
I will not rule the second one out, but
do you think Aldrin would change his name?
He doesn't know his name.
Oh, he does. That's right. I forgot.
He doesn't know anything about himself.
Yeah.
How did he come up with the name? What's this kid's name?
Shahan. The joke was that he watched Fast and the Furious and combined 2 character names. Besides that, I don't know. I literally ran it through like an anagram thing to see if it would spell anything, and all I got was Sean. So
Shahan.
Like Sean
Makes me wonder if it's after Sean Chan, who works at Bungie. Maybe it was his idea. He's like, Shahan, it's close.
It's entirely possible.
This is my guy.
Speculation is great. Oh my gosh. All right.
That is a D1 looking hunter, by the way.
Come on.
That guy looks straight out of D1.
Yeah, he does, right?
Yeah, he's got like the mismatched armor, and
I remember that helmet specifically, and I hated it.
Is it a D1 helmet? I didn't notice that.
It looks like the helmet I used to wear.
Well, the other idea is that he's going to be the vendor. Like once this is all
set.
For the Cosmodrome.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That could work.
Perhaps.
Are you guys excited that the Cosmodrome is coming back?
I am.
Yeah. This didn't really explain a whole lot about like what is in it. Like they talk about lost sectors, and we're getting
a
couple strikes over the course of the year. I just wonder, like, is this a significant part of the story in any meaningful capacity? Like, has anything really changed? Like,
I don't think it has anything to do with the online story.
Yeah, so it's just that's why I said it kind of seems like a baby guardian playground, maybe,
But I miss being a baby guardian.
Yeah,
no, I do. I'm excited to go explore it again.
I'm just getting my spin metal, man.
I'm just curious what it's going to be used for.
Yeah.
Besides new Guardian training, but
yeah, that's fair. Looking forward to the strikes again.
Yeah, I like the strikes a lot.
All right, moving forward, we got mod modifications. A little month out from Beyond Light, 30 days to be precise. We got quite a bit to cover here. Let's see. They're talking about armor mods are used to elevate your reload speed, ability regen, and more to higher levels. In November, some of the mods you commonly use are being tuned. Some mods will be buffed, while others will be removed altogether. Here we're going to be diving into the patch notes preview with snippets of developer commentary from the development team. Energy type requirements. So all of the weapon-oriented armor mods, like hand cannon, loader, fusion rifle, ammo finder, etc., have been changed to any energy type. So no longer do you need to keep 3 sets of armor for different weapons.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I like that very much.
As a result of the above change, all arc charged with light mods now activate their second perk if you have any other arc mod equipped on the same armor piece, or if you have any other arc charged with light mod socketed into any other armor piece you are wearing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can still do all of your charged with light builds, which is very nice, and all of your War Mind Cell builds.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now using exotics too.
Yeah, which is really good.
A big deal. Yeah.
It's a huge deal.
They said removing the energy type requirement from weapon-focused mods has been a consistent piece of community feedback since Armor 2.0 launched. However, doing so meant that every mod socket would be displaying 3 times as many mods at once, which would be cumbersome. So they had to change that stuff. Enhanced mod rebalancing. All mods that have enhanced versions of that mod, like enhanced hand cannon loader, have had the base mod's efficacy increased to match that of the enhanced version of the mod. So regular hand cannon loader is now brought up to enhanced hand cannon loader.
Instead of having to,
Yeah. As a result, those enhanced mods have been deprecated, and the base mod's energy costs have been adjusted upwards slightly, but are still lower than the equivalent enhanced mods. I think this is great because they cited this in the developer feedback that a lot of people just don't notice the effects of the base stat, like the base reload increase. Just you don't really notice it unless you stack 2 of them. Yeah. So it's like it's either go enhanced or double stack them or don't even bother. And I think that's better.
It's definitely better. I mean, also who's even looking for the regular reload mods, right? You're always just like, okay, I'm using a hand cannon, I'm gonna have enhanced on.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you want. So yeah, they kind of didn't even
cost so much too. So like those costs coming down, I think is very important too. It's like
very good.
6 energy for like an enhanced rocket launcher loader and like crazy things like that.
Right.
And well, this is also a way that they're trying to solve the like 3 times as many mods on the page now thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because so it's at least cutting them in half, even if they're tripling them. So like it won't be quite as much. But.
Yeah. Yep. So some mods are moved to different slots to create more competition for mod sockets across armor pieces. For example, the fast ready mods have been moved to the arms socket. So some mods are going to get shuffled around once that drops.
Cool.
So yeah, in essence, they're making enhanced mods cheaper and more accessible and deprecating the lesser mods. I'd say that's a good change across the board. And you're not going to have to.
For me.
Yeah, you're not going to have all 3 flavors just to cover all the weapon choices that you might have. That I'm so happy for that. Yeah.
My friend was asking me what the point is of armor now, like for the different elements, but I think it's solely now essentially for charged with light and War Mind cells, because those are still tied to specific elements in armor. I mean, it's a lot less stuff now that matters, but that should technically still be why armor has elemental affinity.
Yeah. Feels like there's other stuff too.
Is there? I was trying to think of that, but because seasonal, like season pass or artifact mods don't have affinity.
What about the ones
and then, where ammo finders?
Yeah,
but those are like
ammo finders,
weapon specific technically.
All the ammo stuff. Oh yeah, all the weapon and ammo stuff has been neutralized now, so it's any affinity. But I think things
I don't think it's anything else unless it's like
grenade throw distance
mods and stuff.
Grenade throw distance and like.
Yeah. Some of the class.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
ashes,
definitely a thing.
Yeah, so there are some of those too. I forgot about those.
Yeah, I feel like those are still, affinity based, but I think overall for weapon sets or for weapon tuning for when you're doing Nightfall specific type of stuff for raids, this is going to be a huge improvement. Speaking of raids, raid mods starting in season 12, The Last Wish, Garden of Salvation, and the upcoming Beyond Light raid armors will now drop with a 5th dedicated armor mod socket that is exclusively for the mods related to that raid. Last Wish and Garden of Salvation armor required prior to season 12 will not have this dedicated armor socket, but will be able to use the mods related to that raid in the new Legacy armor mod socket. And then they also said anti-Taken mods from Last Wish will only function in the Last Wish raid. Anti-Hive mods from the Leviathan raid will be deprecated, and anti-Fallen raid mods from the Scourge of the Past will be deprecated.
Yeah. Gambit's back, baby.
Gambit's back. Let's go.
I didn't realize how much this affected Gambit until they mentioned that.
Huge amount.
It really does.
It didn't occur to me.
This decimates.
I guess it makes sense.
This decimates people's approach to how they cheese and spam Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
That explains a lot and why I'm always losing in Gambit. So
invading with full heavy ammo constantly, having heavy ammo for the freaking boss, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why everyone is heavy all the time in Gambit. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Feel like they invaded and they already shoot like 4 truth rockets. It's like, how do you have that ammo? And then they do it again, the exact same thing. This is why.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. Well, now Gambit will be perfect, so that's good news.
Yeah, Gambit's back, baby.
Gambit's saved.
Let's go.
It's been resurrected from the dead. They said the decision.
Sounds good overall, though. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Developer commentary in here. Decision to give the raid armors a 5th mod socket dedicated solely to its raid mods should not only make the raid armors a more valuable reward, but also should compensate for the restriction of the usage of these raid mods with the ability to use that armor to craft your build both in and out of the raid. I think this is a big step forward to making that stuff way more usable, because this is basically how it felt. Like, oh, you build for that raid or not for that raid. And like, it's kind of annoying. Like suddenly you're stripping your build to put on what's the mods to stand next to the pole in Garden of Salvation.
Oh, that thing.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And I'm like, I have
barrier,
this one. I don't have the right arms for those.
Whatever barrier thing or whatever. Like you got to strip your entire build to like stack all 5 mods of those to do that specific thing in there. And now you could just set that up for that and still have your build. Relay
still cost energy though, right? Won't they?
Oh, it's a good question, actually. I don't know. I mean, technically, there's a 5th mod socket.
You might not have the energy budget for it, so you might still have to change everything around.
Maybe for the raid stuff.
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Maybe for the raid stuff, it's like only the raid socket gets taken up for that. So it's like
that's true.
Out of the energy
profile. Nice.
It said that it had a socket, right? Like a raid socket for mods, like a
5th mod socket. I mean, if they're all called sockets. I would assume that it still shares the same energy pool, but
it's possible.
I don't know. I hope not. I think one of my biggest complaints is that I don't think there's enough energy slots.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 5
maybe
mod
maybe
slots,
that'll change with the cost reduction of enhanced stuff. But
if you got 5 mod slots, then you already are. Each one is at least taking 1 energy. So it's
2 energy per slot at the most. That's
that's
pretty restricted.
Extremely, yeah. So I feel like. I hope they thought about that. We'll see. Regarding deprecation of the anti-Hive and anti-Fallen mods, the restriction of the anti-Taken mods to Last Wish, this is something that we've had our eye on for a while. We had consistently getting feedback that faction-specific mods are highly unbalanced outside of the content they were intended to work in. In this case, the raids, which are being moved, those raids are being moved in the content vault. Because these are useful with any instance of a combatant race, activity designers and sandbox designers were constantly having to be aware of those mods and how they would impact those activities. They have proven to be problematic in Gambit, really, creating a clear divide between the haves and have-nots, and have significantly reduced the challenge of the dungeons. I've heard that too. The dungeons get.
I mean, there's 2 taken dungeons, so.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. With the raids that provided the source of these mods going into the content vault, we have the opportunity to gracefully remove these mods and their long-reaching consequences. Last Wish, which was designed and balanced with the anti-Taken mods in mind, will remain a part of the game and continue to reward players with its mods. However, to prevent those far-reaching consequences, it's those aligning those mods with the other raid mods and making them functional only in that raid that they drop from. So they're going to be useful for the raid specifically that they're dropping in.
Cool.
They're going to be more like Garden with the stand by the plate.
Yes.
Mods.
More like Garden.
Yeah, not just like do more damage to everything.
Yeah. Which was cool for Sandbox adjustments, or it's like Sandbox tricks, but ultimately would break things.
Yeah.
And then
I like that though. Good.
Yeah, I like it too. Changes. Combat mods, all armor released in Beyond Light and Season 12. In Beyond Light and Season 12, all Last Wish and Garden Salvation armor acquired starting in Season 12, and all armor 2.0 exotic armor pieces, including those already possessed by players, will have a combat style mod socket. In Season 12, this socket will accept all Charge with Light and Warmind Cell mods. So the exotics as well.
Yes.
I did not notice that until like an hour ago, and that is probably the biggest change.
That's huge.
It is a huge change because I spent a lot of time not wearing an exotic so that I could have like my full Charged with Light build going on or Warmind build. So this is
it was one of the other, right?
Real nice.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's great. All armor 2.0 armor acquired during season 8 through 11 have had their seasonal mod sockets replaced with a single unified legacy mod socket that can socket all Charged with Light mods, all Warmind Cell mods, all Nightmare Hunt mods, all Garden of Salvation mods, and all Last Wish mods. So a catch-all for previous armor. And with that comes to an end of our armor mod patch note preview. In the coming weeks, we'll shift focus to the arsenal. We have a handful of weapon archetypes that are being tuned with some hefty changes that may surprise you. Stay tuned.
Hefty changes.
Hefty changes that might surprise you, eh?
Triple rocket launcher damage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Rockets are getting buffed.
What would we get surprised about? What would be surprising?
I don't
know. Icebreaker comes back.
Scout rifles actually becoming...
Oh yeah,
useful.
Scout rifles not sucking.
Yeah,
that would be. Is it time for Scout rifles again? The season?
It's time.
I don't know.
Everyone's gonna hate it.
Weird place.
I would love a genuinely good combat bow, like one where you can just go in and just spray and pray with a bow. Like they kind of did something like that with the Gambit one, but it wasn't as run and gun as I kind of hoped it would be. So I would love something like that in a bow.
It's still.
I did an article about gun archetypes that they still haven't put in, and I had crossbows as one thing that they could still introduce as a new type. So that would be like Demon Hunter and Diablo, rapid fire, shorter range crossbows, which would be kind of cool. But
that'd be cool. Yeah,
we'll see if they ever do that.
Yeah, a crossbow type of thing would be really cool.
Could just be an exotic, if not a whole new type, but
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I feel they already did some big changes to weapons this past year, or when the the changes had rolled out. I mean, I guess it wasn't last year, but I know that they've changed weapon stuff. I wish that there was more stuff. I wish they would adopt an energy process to the mods as well and make it two-dimensional instead of just one mod slot for the weapons. But that's probably not going to happen for a long time, if ever.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go back to redesigning the whole gun system anytime soon.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
they got to figure out a solution for exotics and mods and champion mods and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's month one of seasonal artifact mods being introduced. That was the number one complaint people had, and it has not been addressed this entire time. So
I would really like it if they could make it to where every exotic has overload or anti-barrier, and just slot them in where it makes sense. And then I can say, oh, well, because that's just, a lot of people use Ariana's Vow because it has the anti-barrier. It does a really good job at getting rid of barriers. So I would really like for them to have each exotic using its identity and putting overload or anti-barrier on it. So I'm like, oh, I'll bring
this more of them have it.
It'll be more interesting
an
too.
Anti-shield weapon, and it doesn't have anti-barrier. What? Okay.
Yeah, it's very
some
weird.
of these seem really obvious.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate because like a lot of times you want to use an exotic, but you don't want to give up that ability to strip those champions.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, in all these activities, I found myself running like double primaries half the time because it's mostly primaries that have the champion mods you need, unless you want to run like Leviathan's Breath or something. They kind of came up with a workaround with this season where they have the mod that you put on your armor that gives all pulse rifles, I think it's unstoppable, and that works on exotics. So like that's kind of a way. Good. If they do more stuff like that, maybe that could be good enough to a certain extent. I don't know, but
yeah,
that wasn't a bad solution on their end.
I did like that. That was good.
Yeah. I think that wraps up the juice of the 12. We got some fashion stuff.
Last chance to win the old emblem.
Yep.
You got to get it. It's real good. I like it very much.
Very good. It's better than the new one, although I'm still going to try and win the new one.
So this is specifically for Festival of the Lost. It's a Festival of the Lost fashion show. So you got to have something from Festival of the Lost. Does it specify? Oh, it does. So take a screenshot of your guardian wearing a Festival of the Lost mask in any activity or any destination. So there you go. You got to wear
masks are weird looking. They don't look good with fashion. Yeah. I don't like that.
I guess it's been a year since we got our emblem, our group, because we dressed up as acolytes and Vex and then had Callus sitting on
I remember that. That was really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah, so you can come up with like fun, silly things to do with Festival of the Lost stuff, which is cool.
Yeah.
Go get it. It is a good emblem. It's very good.
They also got some bug stuff, which I don't know. They're basically letting people know if you haven't migrated or not just bug stuff, but if you haven't migrated from Blizzard yet for a whole year, that's gonna.
If you haven't done that, you're probably not reading the TWAB. Let's be honest.
That boat is sailing, I think, December 1st, officially. So. Wow. If you happen to be watching a Destiny-related podcast like ours right now and finding this out for the first time.
You haven't played for a very long time.
Yeah. Now's the time.
Now you do.
Mm-hmm. Better get to getting on that. Let's see. So yeah, just, maintenance stuff and some bugs here and there. They're fixing.
I think that's about everything.
Yeah. I guess it's time for some Twitter questions. Briar.
Lots of juicy stuff happened. Oh, yeah. Briar's not here.
Briar, you want to pull up that list of Twitter questions?
I don't know if he can pull up a list of Twitter questions, but I don't think he has any arms. Yeah.
He lost his arms? Oh, no.
They were delicious.
Yeah. At the end, Dylan said, nothing like the buzz before the launch of a new expansion, Destiny 2. If we're in the office, we'd be feeling electricity in the air at Bungie. Things are getting tied up. We're taking a magnifying glass of the content and finishing up our final test passes to prepare the next year of Destiny 2 for launch. Even in a world where we're working remotely, the excitement is felt in each meeting as we dot the I's and cross the T's. Soon it will be in all of your hands, and we'll be right there with you as you embark on your first journey of Europa. I hope you enjoyed a peek at upcoming exotics earlier this week. We have a lot more for you to see and a lot more for you to experience, all coming soon. We know many of you are trying to plan some time off for the raid race, and we're looking to have some details on that next week for the raid race.
Stay tuned. Thank God, because we need to know.
Yeah. When it's going to happen. It's going to be... Glad tweeted, he said like December 25th or something like that.
Make sure everyone has off work. Yeah.
I think he said something like that. Yeah. So, questions. I do not have
Twitter
them pulled
questions.
Up.
Let's kick it off with one in the spirit of us hating warlocks.
Okay.
This is from Awesomeness that says, idea for a live event. Watts finally eats Briar. But because Briar is a day one warlock, Watts develops an addiction to warlock meat. Watts then launches a campaign to eat all warlocks, and players decide whether to defend the warlocks or eat them with Watts. What do you do? What are your thoughts?
It sounds like a delicious feast. Well, actually, maybe not delicious because there are
Maybe
a
not
lot of
delicious.
warlocks.
Maybe a little pea braised, if you know what I mean.
Depends on how cleaned the meat is, you know? They going through a nice
Sounds
process.
like a Season of Arrival's season-ending community event. Just
Eat
devour
warlock.
all warlocks. Yeah, you have to devour
fitting.
a million
All warlocks
warlocks
get
to
eaten.
unlock something. Yeah,
That's great. Can I submit my warlock for consumption?
to be eaten. Sure.
It's making me hungry. The answer, yes.
Yes, clearly.
Okay, what was the question part?
Would you eat all the warlocks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously. I haven't read this, but I'm going to read it anyways. The Omega says, to the gang, looking at the new Titan exotics got me hyped to be Behemoth. Interesting. I think you meant be honest, but let's go with Behemoth. Or Bahamut.
Bahamut?
Bahamut.
Behemoth,
Briar's Bahamut.
The Bahamut, yeah. I don't know what it is if Briar's not saying it.
Oh, you
I
know
just
what?
can't comprehend it.
No, he said it right. I actually thought that it said to be honest, but he's talking about the Titan. Yeah, my bad.
He's talking about the Bahamas.
Omega, I apologize.
He's talking about the Bahamas.
I got
Okay.
I got Briar's delicious braised meat on my brain right now. All right. How many? He says, how many of their favorite crayons do you think they offered to the darkness for them, and what is your favorite color that you would offer as a tribute as a Titan main?
No one's a Titan main though, are they?
No.
Ice,
If I was a
ice
Titan
blue.
main.
I'm deleting them? What was the question?
You're gonna delete your Titan?
How many crayons would you give the darkness, and what color would they be?
Yeah.
The darkness.
A lot.
A smoky gray.
Smoky gray.
Smoky gray. Interesting.
Smoky charcoal.
I'm gonna go
feeling.
with
Smoky
Briar dark red.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's a little smoky as well.
Goes against their color palette. Yeah. That's like nightmare color.
Yeah, nightmare color. Uh-huh.
I have a question from Blandy McBlanderson. A wildlife park in England recently had to remove 5 African grey parrots from the main park because they were telling visitors to F off.
I heard about this.
What would a parrot learn to say in your households that would get you into trouble? So you got a parrot. What is a thing that they could pick up from stuff that you say that you'd be like, ooh, don't think I want visitors hearing that? Or the police?
Huh.
Oh man.
Well, I think first of all, me saying, talking about all this Briar eating. If Briar ever goes missing and the cops come around to see if I know where he's at, and the parrot's going, eat Briar, eat Briar, eat Briar, that could be
bad.
Problematic.
It could be bad.
Or the parrots would say where you put Briar? Where you hid Briar? Leftovers? I don't know. This is a tough question.
When
Mine
I
would just
game a
probably
lot, I
bark
say
like
I'm
a
about to
dog.
die.
Semi-dog. But
Yeah. Yeah.
About to die, I'm
Birds do
dying,
do
I'm
that,
dying, I'm
actually.
dying. And be like, whoa, that's not good. That could get me. in
me,
trouble.
me cursing about
Damn.
Genshin pulls that I'm not getting.
Genshin
God
RNG. Damn it. Yeah, maybe
Where's
something like that.
Luke?
Yeah. It could be that. Let's see. Ficado says, what is the secret to Paul's flawless hair? Is it intensive skybox watching?
It's Tree Watch.
Tree watch. The tree darkness
It creates the
glaze just
perfect
washes
angle.
over it.
Yeah.
Oh, you
No,
got
I
a darkness
literally-
wash?
It's like it's from the super cuts, and you put in your hand, you do this, it's done. that's the elaborate routine. So the secret's out.
There you go. So Paul, you spilled the beans. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, man. Yeah. Watts got a question.
Yes. This is an easy one. Physics says, which exotic is everyone most excited for? From the new exotics that were shown, what are you most excited for? Obviously, the hunter helmet. Next question.
Not the superior weighted knife we don't understand at all.
You know, that knife, I will just throw it randomly at walls and see what happens.
I think that's what they want you to do. That's its intended function, to be like
blindfold dice throwing.
It might happen. Might as well try. Bing.
I think if the poison gloves are good, that could be really interesting. If they suck, then it's probably going to be totally ignored. Generally, the Titan barrier one, though, I think.
It does seem really cool. Yeah. I think for me that stasis rocket launcher, man, I'm going to be rocking that thing. I think it looks badass. I'm all about that. Animu Pepper.
I wonder how stasis works on bosses. Like, can you freeze bosses? Like, what will stasis damage be?
I hope so.
If the whole point of a gun is to like create stasis chunks, like what does that do to like a raid boss?
Well,
I'm gonna guess. You know how I'm gonna guess that they don't freeze to where they can't do anything, but maybe they get a little icy.
Chilly.
Yeah.
A little slow down
They get a
effect?
little chill. Yeah.
Yeah, like I would love to apply chill or slow to them from the ice.
That'd be cool.
Because, it's clearly icy. Here's hoping, though. I hope it does something, and it's not just ignored. Animu Pepper says, DCP crashes on a deserted island, but Paimon also came along. Excellent. Who do you eat first, Briar or Paimon? Paimon is Briar-sized, so they would provide an equal amount. We got a jumbo Paimon?
It's a large Paimon.
I'm eating Briar. Paimon is hilarious.
I used to hate Paimon, but she really grew on me over time.
I freaking love Paimon.
Same. She's amazing.
Now I just hate Venti.
Her ugly nicknames for people are the best thing ever.
It's really funny.
Guhua Geek. Amazing.
She gets super sassy, too.
Great. I regret trash talking her at the beginning. But
yeah, she's grown on me
she's
big time.
also magical, so I think she could save us.
I don't really understand what she
Briar,
is.
And then we can go home.
I know we fished her out of a lake or something. That's all I got. But
is that what
she's
happened?
probably one of the 7 gods, right? She's got to be like in secret. I don't know.
She's got to be some kind of
a god of
crazy
delicious
god
food,
of plants or whatever the heart symbol is.
She's the god of seasoning.
God of seasoning.
So we're eating Briar.
Yes, definitely eating Briar first.
Perfect. I have a question from Wolfer Chief. It said, what day would all of you like for the raid day to launch? 3 days after, a week, the next day? Love the show. First of all, thank you.
Thank you very much.
What's your ideal length of
time? I'd say a week. I don't know.
Like
next day's too soon.
Next day and same day was just like, oh my God, I was dead.
Right?
You had grinded for like 6 hours before you even got into the raid, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I like a week. I do like a week, especially now with contests being on. Yeah, I like a week.
I think that that Saturday, the 10th, and then that Saturday,
Tuesday. I can see that. That could be fine.
As long as it's not an insane climb for light level, with contests.
I would guess that's. Yeah.
Right.
I wonder what the power increase is even going to be.
I don't know.
I think they said that, but I don't remember.
Well, I mean, we have the power and all the gear, but it's like spread out over a year, so I'm not.
Yeah.
What is that, like 1360 or something?
For the year.
1380. Yeah.
1360.
We're at 1060, so 300 over 4. I feel like it would be like maybe 100 and then, or I don't know.
Oh,
Forsaken was like 200, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we do. I think Fricado was saying in chat that we do know the cap is 1260 for the season 12.
1260, so it's straight up 200.
Yeah, so it's gonna be it's gonna be a jump, but it's probably gonna be a pretty easy jump at the beginning for like the first 100, 150. And then that last.
It's a good old like.
It's a pretty big
replace
jump.
Everything with blues for like 12 hours. And
exactly
then,
right.
I like that period. I like seeing stuff drop, and I'm like, ooh, what's this? Oh, it's one light better. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Steve Goodlow says, did you guys like seeing the exotic trailer, or was it too much info? For me, I wish they kept more secrecy around the new exotics.
Yeah, it's something with Destiny now, and honestly, all games, you don't really get to have that mythical, what is happening feeling in a lot of games now, because people break it down so much to where day one, you know what the best thing is, you know what's happening, you know what's the story's gonna have, you know the quest, you know absolutely everything. So I've never liked them showing a bunch of stuff. I like to find it in the wild and be like, what does this do? Oh, that's crazy. But even if they didn't show that, I think it would be very difficult to not know right away what all of this stuff is. And honestly, loot in this type of game is how they are going to get more sales of the game. It's a very enticing part of the game. So I think they're always going to show it. I would love for things to be mythical and mysterious again, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, data mining has kind of made the ship sail on that. I think it's contextual. Like, I do think they should probably try and keep the raid exotic under wraps as much as possible.
I'd like that.
It's weird to me that they always kind of hide the raid armor, but then they've been showing off the raid exotics a lot lately. My most famous example is Bastion. Like, if they had just kept Bastion off the roadmap and kept it a secret, and then just introduced a brand new exotic as a result of the crazy puzzle quests, that would have been awesome. But because we already knew it was coming like a week later, it really fell flat.
Yeah.
But in general, I think, 8 out of the 10 they could show, something like that. And again, I think they are hiding some, and I think we could be being surprised Twilight Garrison is dropping in the world day one.
I hope so.
So yeah.
Or the secret quest stuff, right? I'm sure there's going to be some exotics that are hidden behind secret stuff that we don't know and won't get data mine right away. So
yeah,
hopefully
we're over a year from 0 hour now, so technically we're due for a new quasi secret, quest like that. So hopefully that's coming soon.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm having mixed feelings about the whole exotic reveal type of stuff.
I do as well.
Yeah, it's I love the discovery of stuff that happens. But Destiny has also reached a point now where it's so heavily talked about and written about in videos, people want to consume the information as fast as possible when it comes to Destiny right now. And it makes it difficult to keep that fresh discovery happen for a lot of the people that are tuned in to the game. So I don't know. I mean, they got to market their game. And that trailer looked amazing. You could not be a Destiny player and watch that trailer and be like, "What game is this, man? I want to play this."
Yeah, and I mean that's what they're waiting is did that trailer do more harm or more good overall? Probably more good.
Probably more good.
There we go.
Especially as kids are growing up and they're not thinking about mythical, mysterious things at all because everything is just shown to them immediately, so they don't care. Yeah. It's only as old people.
Yeah, they're like, dude, that one time hand came out and suddenly poisoned all those enemies. Where do I get that experience? I want that right now. It's I think that's what they're going for. But yeah, as a OG Destiny player, I miss the times where suddenly a new exotic dropped out in the wild and people are like, what is this? Oh my God.
I really miss that. That's why with Genshin, I try to stay away from basically everything and just figure it out myself. Because I do really love that part of games where something drops or you find something or you encounter someone and you didn't know about it. It's a really cool feeling.
Yeah, I got a 5-star artifact in Genshin. I'm like, I didn't even know those existed. I was just so happy to see it drop.
Nice. Yeah,
it's so much fun that way. I have a question from Ryan Dupres who says, DCP lore masters, that is us.
That's us.
What was the significance of the Vex missing from that last scene of the Contact storyline?
They're in cahoots.
Well, yeah, so I heard this before, and the Vex have already been used as agents of the darkness, essentially. The whole plot of Shadowkeep and Season of the Undying was that they were weren't they kind of already communing with the darkness, or did I misinterpret that?
Aren't they a manifestation to do the bidding of the darkness?
Yeah, that was kind of the whole point of the Vex appearing in that season, was that they were kind of the advance forces of the darkness.
Yeah, it's the physical representation of the darkness coming through to do the bidding. Or
yeah, and the other thing I think is that I think that the darkness could give stasis powers or whatever other powers it has to they're giving it to the fallen, they're giving it to us, and then they're probably going to give it to the Cabal and Hive too. But I don't know if the Vex can like wield powers like that, like in the same way, because they're just this really complex machine supermind race. So I don't know if you just like give Vex, Guardian like stasis powers, whereas you can do that with the other more sentient disconnected races. So that's just something I thought about, where they're kind of already like the darkness's army and doing whatever the darkness seems to want. So I think that's why they weren't there.
That's what I assumed. That's what I've always thought. There's a lot of people in chat saying that like apparently the Vex are neutral, which is weird. And only apparently the Soul Divisive was the one that worshipped the darkness, but apparently the regular Vex are like trying to act like they don't care, light or dark, which seems a little strange given what they
Dark Vex,
right? They want to consume a planet.
There's a taken Vex mind who's working with Savathun. They're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
The Vex are filled with milk. They're cocoa goats. Next
cocoa goats, yeah.
Cocoa goats. I love that I'm getting all these references.
He's not there yet, so I'm not going to say anything. Cocoa goats.
That was probably my favorite quest.
It was amazing.
All right.
There's your lore minute. We know everything.
Genshin podcast. Just do a separate.
Gonna have to pretty soon.
Entirely Genshin podcast.
We're going to. I think. Okay. I think so.
Perfect.
It's already in the works. You heard it here first.
It's in my brain.
Let's see. Alpha Angelo says currently difficulty spectrum seems to be tied to modifiers or power level requirements. Could Destiny benefit from focusing on making its AI smarter and learn from a player's playstyle? Maybe even have a different arsenal of weapons. I will say that Destiny's AI is a lot smarter than most games already.
Yeah.
But it hasn't evolved as time has gone by. So us as players have adapted way quicker to what its intelligence level is.
I think
they kind of talked about this, didn't they? Like when they were talking about overhauling some of the the engine that like knows what enemies are doing and something like that.
Yeah, I think they have to generally just change how they create content, period, if they did that, because you have to think if you're in a raid day one or you're trying to solo the prophecy or whatever it might be, and all of the AI is super smart and there's a bunch of them and they're just kicking your ass, that's not going to be a fun experience. So they have to be in like a kind of happy place where they do interesting things and they're intelligent and they do stuff that makes sense, but they have to give you some breathing room. So you're not just completely getting your ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would cite a game like The Division, which almost takes enemy AI too far, where it's like they know what cover is to the point where like they will just book it around like directly to flank you like to such an intense degree. It's like I get that that's like the logical step, but it doesn't actually translate into fun when it gets taken a little
also
too literally.
Like one of the pillars of creating a combatant and how they play is they fire off shots that are not supposed to hit you, but it's supposed to be, hey, I'm shooting you from this direction, this is dangerous, you should deal with me. So as soon as you play a game where that shot is hitting you instantly, it actually feels kind of bad because you get this feeling of I'm getting hit from all over the place and I don't know where it's coming from. So they are programmed to miss in the beginning to give you a heads up of what's happening.
Like playing someone with an aimbot in Trials.
Yeah.
Not fun.
It feels bad. You're like, where did that come from? Who knows? No warning shot.
Yeah, it's a tough problem to like. It's like you can't go full Dark Souls Bloodborne and then turn off a whole bunch of player base because it's just like too aggravating to play with the difficulty level, but you also don't want to make it too easy either. I will say that I don't like constant stomp and bullet sponge and like super punishing modifiers that just make it unfun. I'm not a fan of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like getting punished for jumping all the time. Don't do that. That's not fun. Like, let's have some different modifiers or something.
We gotta get new modifiers. It's been so long with the same modifiers. Like,
yeah.
I'd rather have combat mixed up like that because that's not like reprogramming an entirely new AI system. It's just like, hey, more special weapon damage, like things that are a lot more basic, but would still be fun to consider.
I've been saying this for like years at this point. I don't know why they don't bring in weapon specific burns, like hand cannons suddenly are getting boosted, or all grenade launchers are getting boosted in strikes, or all fusion rifles, things that you just normally wouldn't think, like sidearms. Imagine if you had a sidearm buff that was happening in a 1 day or a week or something like that, and suddenly you could run like 2 sidearms because it was just going to be useful and powerful. It'd make it'd switch things up more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, and specialists, arc, what was it? Specialist arc and airborne with the 4th horseman in D1. Glorious. Those were great days. Those were fun.
That was a good time.
I'm looking for a question.
I think I have one. So this is from Reginald that says, with the end of the interference missions this week, where do you guys think a perfect post-quarantine vacation would be? You can leave now. Quarantine is over. It was the tree holding us captive the entire
tree,
time.
yeah.
I think more so, like, is there anywhere that you guys have found a sudden urge of wanting to go? No, because you can't go there. So you're like, oh man, I really want to go to this place.
I'm trying to book a Hawaii trip for like a year and a half from now, assuming COVID will be done by then. And I won't have to like quarantine for 2 weeks when I get there, which I think is the rule now. So that's where I'm trying to go, but it might still be very far away.
Yeah, it could be a long time. I think I just want to go back to Japan. I don't know what it is about that country. I don't necessarily want to live there, but visiting there there's just this feeling of always wanting to go back. There's always something you haven't seen, or there's something coming, and freaking Super Mario World is happening. I want to go to Super Mario World. I want to go there. I'm going there.
They have a whole.
So that's where I want to.
Are they still building it?
I think it's either nearly done or done, because
like
there's been some like drone shots of it, and it looks insane.
Is it like a theme park type of thing?
It's happening in Universal.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
I want to go there.
I want to like go everywhere. I think 2020 has made me want to become a traveler, and just like once it's taken away from you, you start to realize like, man, all these places that I haven't visited that I totally would like to visit at some point. And like time marches on, and then suddenly a year and a half goes out because of a pandemic, and you can't go check those places out. I don't know, it kind of puts things into perspective. Traveling is very important. I haven't done enough of it. I want to do more. I don't know where I'd go first. Yeah. Let's see. Looking for a question. Natalie says, question for Paul. How many times have DCP crew made you have a facepalm sigh? I can't believe this moment.
We definitely saw that one with the Titan armor. I saw that.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. It's usually something hunter related. I've gotten used to all the eating briar references now, so I don't have to facepalm for that. But when the knowledge is constrained to just hunters being the center of the universe, that's usually when the facepalms come up.
Well, at least I know about the new exotics coming for Titans and Warlocks. So maybe I'll just try and keep on top of it. Yeah,
I'll check back in 6 months and see if you remember them.
You're like, this Titan always got an overshield. Why? Oh, right. Okay, I understand. Oh, this is the Paimon question.
I got another one. Daniel B says, how big do you think Beyond Light will be as a whole, content-wise, and with Cyberpunk around the corner? How will all of you handle the both between investing time in each game?
This is a facepalm moment.
Also,
not because of you guys, just because.
Also, how are you going to handle Godfall and Demon Souls and the new Genshin stuff that clearly is going to happen at some point?
There's also like 6 more Assassin's Creed, like Call of Duty Cold War, Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's like 10 days of just probably the most
an
games
onslaught.
I've seen crammed into a single stretch ever. It's going to be intense. I made a ranking order of this at one point where Beyond Light was on top. I mean, the once Cyberpunk hits, like everything kind of bows to Cyberpunk probably until that's beaten. Thankfully, that's last, but last is like 9 days after
Beyond
Light. So, yeah. I have to shelve, like I can't. I'm not gonna have time to do like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I'm not really a Demon's Souls person, so I'm probably not gonna do that at all. Like Cold War campaign for Call of Duty, I can beat in probably like 3 hours, so that won't be a big deal. But I'll shelve multiplayer. I don't know. I'm looking forward to, but also very much dreading that week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, like I want to play Godfall on release. Like I want to play when it comes out. It's just one of those games that I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to. So I think this is going to be one of the first times of I'm going to just have to play a new Destiny release alongside other things. I'm just going to have to schedule for it. Even if it's just like a little bit of time for the other game, I don't want to just put off playing it completely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I don't know what I'll get a review copy of. Like these days it's a crapshoot. So I would love to have like a week of Godfall ahead of time, but it's next gen only, and so I don't even know if that'll happen with Sony. So
yeah. All right. Paul, have you not played Bloodborne?
No, I beat Bloodborne.
Oh, you beat Bloodborne.
Okay, good.
Well, you're not into Demon Souls?
I'm not like a Demon Souls, Dark Souls person, but I did beat Bloodborne in like 85 hours. But yeah, that's the one I did make it all the way through.
Did you enjoy it? Or did you lament the experience?
No. I mean, it wasn't like I definitely want to do that again. Like do New Game Plus or go and do all 3 Dark Souls games or anything.
It didn't spark a fire.
I mean, I'm glad I did it. It's definitely not my usual type of thing. So
that's fair.
It took a while to get to.
I can't wait for Demon Souls. Looks amazing. But I want to play Godfall. Then Beyond Light's gonna be right in the middle and just everything.
I don't know what to make Godfall. I hope it's good. I don't know. I keep getting burned by these live service games like every time a new one comes out. So
well, hey, maybe it comes out, it's bad, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
But if you play it right away, then
I'd
you know
rather
you're like,
have it be good.
Like
it would be more fun if it was good and like it was something I could write about a lot. But
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy Godfall. Just looking at the combat looks really interesting. Of course, I don't know about all the other stuff that they haven't talked about, but from what I've seen, it looks like something that I would enjoy.
Yeah, I still feel like I barely know anything about Godfall.
You gotta watch Eric's videos. All the information is in Eric's videos.
Just give it all to Eric's.
It really is. He does all these like really in-depth interviews with the developers. Yeah. So I've learned so much from his videos than not from other people. It's weird.
Yeah. I got another question here. Left Horn of Shax says, for Paul, what are some tips you would give to aspiring writers, and what was your biggest hurdle in your career path as a writer?
Aspiring writers, it depends what kind of writing you're trying to do. If you're trying to do like article news writing, like that's about consistency, it's about accuracy. In my case these days, it's kind of about volume to a certain extent. I write a ton and I do it every day. I've said this before in the past, I think, but building up a body of work, even if it's on your own kind of personal site before you really start anywhere, is a good way to get started and to showcase your work to other people. If you're trying to do like book writing, that's a whole other thing, and that's about motivation and keeping motivation alive, which is something I am still struggling with to this day, about trying to get on my next book now. Biggest hurdle, I've gone through a lot of different hurdles here and there. Like there's always just kind of like the entire model of different sites I've worked for has changed, and like it's thrown me for a loop. Like I was moving once, and the entire model of how I got paid got changed right when I was buying a house, and like there are moments that you just kind of have to get past and know that things will work out, and so far they have. But this industry especially is always changing, and like usually for the worse. So you will have to deal with a lot of that stuff along the way. So just know that it's coming.
Cool.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Not to be too dire, but
no, that is good.
Yeah.
I think we're getting close to the end of questions here. I do have one from Hugo Rune, of course. Emergency question, number 705. Has a waiter ever spilled anything on you? Do you think it might have been deliberate?
Yeah, I think this did happen to me once. I think it was a Coke. I don't remember if it was deliberate. It was a long time ago, but probably.
And probably deliberate.
Yeah.
I don't recall getting spilled on.
I think I got a free meal out of it, though.
Maybe they were deliberately trying to give you a free meal.
Maybe that's the only way they were like, that's Paul Tassi. I want to give him a free meal. The only way you can do it is if you mess something up, Jib.
Jib. Come on over, Jib. Jib, gotta spill something on him.
I haven't had anyone spill something on me, but I have had a waiter where I was just really confused at why they were being so aggressive. Like they came to the table and got the breadsticks and like threw them on the table. The water, he'd like do a drive-by and just slam it on the table and the water would fly everywhere. And I was like, what is going on? Do we need to have a conversation with these drive-by aggressive deliveries? They're dangerous and I don't like them.
Oh man. Let's see. I guess we'll do a couple more questions, right? Scorpion says there's a lot of questions. Does Briar read each one and pick the best, or pick the first ones he sees? Briar?
Thoughts?
Thoughts, Briar?
He's keeping it under wraps.
He has an extremely secretive and precise 31-point inspection process for every single question that he reads. And if you didn't make it through his 31-point inspection process, you're just gonna have to try to do better next time, you know? It's just how it is. Nobody knows, only he knows.
I have an interesting question from Danfinity. I'm not reading the first part because we're now having a question about hot dogs again.
Oh, I saw this question. I was gonna read
hot dog, sandwich, pizzas, tacos.
None?
No. The answer is no.
Banana,
the answer is no.
Okay.
Hot dog.
Is hot dog a taco?
Unless it's a Briar hot dog.
Would a Briar hot dog be a taco?
Is that the question, or did you just make that up?
The first question.
The first part of the question is a hot dog a taco? But I do like the extra spin of is a Briar hot dog a taco? He is authentic Mexican food. So
yeah.
If a
Certified.
Briar hot dog is sold at Taco Bell, is it a taco?
Would Pope eat it?
I can't tell if this is the question.
Definitely.
Okay.
This is an evolution of the question.
I will read
Just
the
a few
second part of the
generations
question
down.
after we get through.
Oh, we haven't gotten there. Okay.
I'm gonna go with yes on that. In the
Is it
Taco
Taco
Bell,
Bell?
it's Briar hot dog being sold as a taco in a Taco Bell. Yes, it's a taco. Congratulations, chat. We did it.
All right. Briar's now a taco hot dog.
That'll be the picture next time. Okay.
Yeah, if anyone put that out there, if anyone wishes to create a photoshopped masterpiece of Briar as various meats, I'll accept them. You can send them to me on Twitter.
Wouldn't say no.
I'll make a collage. I'll put it on the wall. I'll put it right there. I'll put it right next to me. Put it in a frame. The second part of this question is for Paul. When you work on multiple articles a day, what is your research process like, and what's your favorite sandwich to eat while researching?
And is it a hot dog?
There's a place called McAllister's by me that has a really good like smoked turkey sandwich. It's really good. Research. Obviously, I get every article from Reddit. That's just, it's just a gold mine of infinite articles. No, I don't get everything from Reddit, despite what people think. I have a list of dozens of sites I check. A lot of it is from Twitter, and then a lot of it is just a lot of my articles are not even news articles. They're just my own thoughts on games I'm playing, which is why I write about Genshin Impact every day now, and that's why I've been writing about Destiny every day for several years at this point. It comes in phases. Like Avengers, I'm documenting that's troubles lately, and it's sort of, you know, whatever is both on my mind and that I know people will care about. Like if I really get into some niche game, like I'm not going to write about it every day if I know like no one else is playing it. And there's no real stories to be had from it. But this is why Destiny's clicked so well, because there's always something to write about, and there's always a community that is eager to engage with it. So that's been kind of the perfect storm of a game. Like I play a lot, I write about a lot, and then people read my articles a lot. So that's why I'm doing this. So it depends on the game and the topic, but that's kind of the gist of it.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Did not expect that after the hot dog part, but interesting switcheroo.
You never know what
Things
you get.
can go.
It's wild in these questions. Briar, man. He's got quite the job every week. Okay.
Face.
Cure Denim says, I had to read it first to make sure there was nothing out of
untoward,
out of left field, you know.
Not DCP approved.
Yeah, exactly. Kier says Venti floats in the air, Warlocks float in the air. Is Venti a secret Warlock, and so automatically is Tefty's favorite alt?
This makes sense as to why Tefty pulled Venti early on. Venti saw his home, and he went home.
This is blasphemous.
This also makes sense why I don't like him.
He is kind of a Warlock. That actually makes a lot of sense.
He shoots at bow and arrow. He doesn't
Warlocks
have a
and
book.
bows. I mean, everyone has bows. But
Warlocks can have bows.
yeah.
Dimitri is a warlock, and his favorite weapon is a bow. I'm just saying.
Venti's
this
a
is
god.
making a lot of sense.
Venti's a god. He's not
Are warlocks
a lowly
gods?
warlock.
Sort of.
Core is borderline a god. I mean,
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Make a fair point on that.
Venti's like barely a god.
He's also a bard. Tefty, you make music.
Oh no.
You're a warlock music master.
Plot thickens.
Is there no like, if you were a Genshin person, who would you be question? Because that seems inevitable at this point.
Can someone ask that
So-
question? If someone in chat wants to type that question
420
out,
no
Alfred Benny
scopes.
tweeted it at me.
You've already answered Tefty.
420 no scope 666 asks, what do you identify as a Genshin anime?
If each podcast member was a Genshin Impact character, who would they be?
I'd be Lisa.
Well, I
for the
got
vibe.
Kate
Be
and
Lisa.
Her hair immediately reminded me of your
My
hair when you had
God.
the anime hair thing that you did. It's very similar.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Lisa because of the vibe, and also because I'm all about those books. All right.
All about those books.
I
My only
don't know.
5-star weapon is a book, but I don't have anyone good enough to give it to. I'd be Razor because he's awesome.
I don't think you get to just be like, well, I like this person. I want to be them, so I'm gonna be that guy.
I don't know if that's my actual vibe is demented wolf child, but he's cool. He's got a big sword.
I don't know what
And,
my vibe is.
Electrifies things.
I don't have a vibe. I know who I'd like to be, but probably not them.
Who would you
I'm
like
probably-
to
Be.
Maybe Beto. She's freaking awesome.
I don't have Beto yet.
She's great. I look at her and
I
I'm
got
like,
yelled at for not
yeah,
ranking her higher
very-
on my tier list.
maybe. But someone I really like is Sucrose. She's great. She's very, very cute.
I don't have her yet either.
She's amazing.
Sucrose, like literally like sugar.
Sugar. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless it's Sucrose. She could be.
Sucrose.
Or
I'm
Sucrose.
still missing a lot of people apparently.
Yeah. Most
I
of these
just
people that you
remember
talk
them.
about, I'm like, that's Genshin? Okay, cool. I got a long
She's
ways to
better
go.
than
You know they're gonna add like 10 more people in the next update, and then you'll.
Oh, I saw them all in
Even
that
further
one mission, and I'm ready to spend $1 billion.
Yeah.
Well, is that the episode?
Well, I think
Probably.
if Briar was a hot dog taco. Which character would it be in Genshin?
Man.
Chi-Chi's Pound Town. I bet Briar's all about Chi-Chi.
I haven't seen Chi-Chi yet.
Chi-Chi's my actual favorite character, like
She's
story-wise.
my favorite character as well, just in general. I got her right away, super early on. I got very lucky. I love everything about her.
I need her. I just want to walk around with her and never say things. But.
Yeah, we know that Briar is Paimon for many reasons.
How could I not connect that? Oh my god! Obviously. Oh my gosh! All right, well, that is DCP episode number 209.
Big boy numbers.
Big boy numbers with a lot of info that we had to dive into, and some spicy questions towards the end. Briar was silent because he's not here. That's actually
because he's a taco.
Because he's a taco. Yeah, he's a hot dog taco. Want to thank our Patreon members and our Twitch subs for supporting the show. Really appreciate that, guys. Keep the administrative stuff happening, so we're able to do this. So thank you very much, guys. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. Paul, where can people find you, and what are you up to? What's your schedule looking like?
The schedule is looking like a lot of Genshin, and I write 5 articles a day before noon, usually. Just Google anything Destiny, and myself will come up. On YouTube, I'm still doing a YouTube video a week on Destiny, which has been fun. And nice. I wrote 5 different books on Amazon that you are free to peruse if you look me up there.
Just search Paul Tassi on Amazon.
Yeah, I should probably do it. Or just I have my author page on my Twitter, I think, too.
Up? The one with the big butts? You might want to check that.
What now?
Are there any of the Paul Tassi mouse pads, the ones with the big butts on them, that give you
I think there's some fan-made ones that have made their way to market. So
Etsy page.
Check
that out. Yep. I do not have my own Etsy store yet, but
we should get DCP mouse pads like that made.
Yeah,
but only of Briar specifically.
The butts, yes. just Briar.
Yes, just Briar. Yeah. Sounds good.
I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts.
And I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter and catch my streams, twitch.tv/Tefty Teft. I too have been playing Genshin Impact. Probably going to be playing a lot more Genshin Impact until Beyond Light hits. Basically my schedule. What I'm looking at.
For a month, yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just how things are, right? So, yeah, thank you very much for watching, listening, hanging out, having us in your ears or in your car if you do commute still to work in the pandemic. Yeah, we'll see you next time for another episode of DCP Live. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.